I want to introduce you to Natalie Nicholas, who's part of the RSA UK. Yes, will you talk to us about your experience today and how you've seen the intersection of the RSA and RSA in the design process today?
Sure. So the competition today was excellent. I think it's incredibly brave of students to stand up and effectively bear their souls about their ideas and also deal with quite a challenging set of judges. The RSA is a 260-year-old institution and it exists to promote social change. And the fact that these students are applying their design thinking to real-world problems is absolutely invaluable because as a world we're faced with challenges that we don't yet know the solutions to. So it was great to see them. I think it was quite nerve-wracking for them, and I find it incredibly inspiring to see these ideas that, although they're not fully formed, they really are showing the seeds of a deeper understanding about how our world could work and could look in the future and what sort of things.
Can you tell us about the RSA's vision for how it wants to perpetuate similar problem solving in the world?
Sure. So the RSA is a very old institution. 260 years old means that you go through lots of changes. At the moment, and for the past maybe kind of 10 or so years, it's been comprised of a think tank. It has a fellowship of 27,000 people that support the values of social change and social progress, and it has an incredibly efficient and effective platform for communicating both the RSA's ideas and other people's ideas. And the RSA's perspective is that everybody should have the ability to put their own ideas into action and that they themselves can be change makers. Programs like the Student Design Awards are a great example of how that would happen. We essentially talk about taking great ideas and connecting them with people and then amplifying that through our communications platform. Across a range of domains from public services to communities, how we learn and educate, and then also looking at the economy and manufacturing and enterprise.
As you sat on the presentations and the briefs today, what were the strengths, and this is purely about the presentation, what were the strengths of some of the presentations and what were things you would advice you would give to the students who have gone through this?
So on the advice I give to students is get to the point quickly. There's only a 10-minute slot, and so quite a few students wanted to explain some of their thinking and elaborate and into their areas of inspiration. But actually, in a very short time frame, you need to explain what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how it's better than any of the current solutions out there. The ones that are the most effective, and we see this because there is a global student design competition that gets entries from around 30 countries run by the RSA, is that the simplest solutions are the most effective. And I don't know if there's a special formula for that, but we certainly see that the ones that really get to some nice, clear, simple ideas captivate judges and also are likely therefore to captivate the public and make a greater impact.
Natalie, thank you. Thank you for your time with us. Will you tell us a little bit your name and where you are in school?
My name is Sydney Moore, and I go to Champlain College. And I was doing the communication design about air pollution. So I went ahead and I created a pulled-out poster brochure that could be mailed out to people, kind of giving them some information about air quality and air pollution, and how they can get involved and making changes.
Do you feel in your local community people are conscious or conscientious about air quality?
I'd say yes. In Burlington, Vermont, I'd say pretty forward. And not necessarily air quality, but eco-friendly solutions. So it was a good experience to try out. My focus was more on trying to put it into a print system that could be applied to web or a campaign.
So going into day and the interview process, the presentation, like, what is your big takeaway from this experience?
Big takeaway. There's definitely trying to come up with a solution that can be applied in a lot of different platforms. I think it was important. I started working in print, but then I found that it is very important to be able to apply it in like a public space or on the internet or in a sort of interactive way. So I definitely want to push my idea further in all those different areas. But I really enjoyed this thing today. So I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, Sarah. Megan, will you introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us a little bit about your design?
Yeah, so I'm Megan. I'm from the Academy of Art. I'm an interior architecture and design major, but I have a strong focus in textiles. So this project here is actually featured as a textiles project, but it's still based in interior design. So I have this film here, and it mimics the texture of shark skin. Because shark skin sharks are the only creatures living in water that don't grow like algae and like gray on their skin. And so they have this here, that's an image zoomed in of shark skin, and then we have this image here, which is the pattern that's on the surface film. And so I've taken in that basically, this film, the purpose of it is to reduce the growth of bacteria, and so the pattern on the film keeps the bacteria from colonizing and spreading, and so it will actually kill off the bacteria because it's unable to colonize. So it reduces the need for harsh chemicals in like in a hospital environment, and so I basically added these textile designs to the film, and then to make it more aesthetically pleasing. And then I have like examples of like application here. And so it's basically to add value to the space rather than replacing surfaces. But the surfaces themselves will be a lot more beneficial for people living with illnesses and different stuff like that. But you can also apply like the applications for it are endless. You can use it in restaurants, educational facilities, transportation, public transportation. So there's a lot of different options for it, and a lot of different design options for like in terms of textiles design.
So in order to create large quantities of this, what is sort of the cost?
So it's the product itself. I did get a price quote of it. And to get a roll of it, that would be 100 feet long by 54 inches wide. It would be around like $700. And so the idea behind it would be the design would be printed on the back of the film, and then you have an adhesive backing, and then you would apply that to a surface. And in the long run, I mean, yes, it might be costly at first, which is, kind of the same thing for all sustainable products, but in the long run, you're saving money because, especially in a hospital setting, because you're not having to spend that extra money on treating infections and that kind of thing, because you're reducing the need for that with the surface on the film.
That's fascinating. When you did your research, did you find is there anybody creating something similar?
So the film itself is existing.
Yeah.
And so I've just taken that and added more of an aesthetic value to it. And so they don't have anything like this. They don't have anything that has a pattern on it already. The only thing that I've seen is that they like just repeated their logo on the film. And so, I mean, that's not something that you want to look at. And so the designs here would just add, I mean, you'd have more, there would be more of this aesthetic value, like I was saying. But these designs are also inspired by nature. And so that kind of it lends to the healing process, just because we're, I mean, our lives are better when we're exposed to natural things. And so that's like really a big idea behind it as well.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Tell us your name and and then where you are in school, and then tell us about your
Sure. My name is Isabella Marino. I go to Academy of Art University in San Francisco, and the name of my project is called Soundmate. I was very inspired with Silicon Valley and everything that they're doing, so I tried to incorporate technology and fashion. And it's a website that brings people together through shared taste in fashion, and it allows people to give and get recommendations on what to wear. It's based on only sustainable products. So yeah, it's a new approach to styling. You get to choose your own stylist, and they will only recommend sustainable brands. And it's targeted to a younger audience because we really want to reach and emphasize, being smarter about where you shop and what you buy. So it's just targeting a different group of people.
And how would you sort of market this to the designers who would participate?
How it works, it's like a virtual marketplace, so it's not really directly with the designers. So how it would work is you could be the stylist, anyone could be a stylist. We would carefully select people that are committed to recommending sustainable brands, and you pay a fee to the stylist. And this, of course, would be the first stages, but it could grow so much more, and then we can pair with brands, sustainable brands.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Paul.
See the play of water coming down, the play of light coming down, and kind of understanding that they're part of this larger system, part of this interconnected whole. And my
It comes down to this modular wetland system where these triangles interchange between pavers and planters, basically, and in a way that allows it becomes a public space but it's also part of the ecosystem within the rail public space. Right. So one thing to point out is that in Miami, interestingly, in New York you have the highland, and in Miami the underline. In New York you have the highline, in Miami you have the underline, because they sort of realized these underutilized spaces, and they hired landscape architect James Conner, Field Condition, the firm, who did the highlines, who did the underline in Miami. So we really see our structure or our proposed intermodal transportation hub as an integral part of this whole 10-mile long linear public space and ecosystem. So that hence the wetland filtration underneath.
And then to a different scale. So the metro rail ends up going from north to south throughout Miami, but then towards the east, we really wanted to make sure that there is an interconnectivity within the hubs. So we included this here, which are smaller hubs, satellite hubs, that are also equipped with zip cars, bikes, and a bus stop, as well as the wetland grafting that ends up taking the proximal pollution from buildings and roads and cleans the water and then takes it back down into the ground and therefore the aquifer. We really wanted to try to solve the last mile problem where people are getting out of their metro rail and having to walk a mile in order to get to where they want to go. So we really wanted to make it as convenient as possible for them to be able to change modes and get to where they need to go in an efficient manner.
So, from an urban planning aspect of this project is to sort of understand where these intermodal hubs goes, and we propose that it gets attached to the existing bus station. But as you can see, the bus networks are really dense, and we're not showing the existing bus station because they're just so dense that there's basically everywhere. So in an economic way, how do you solve this last mile problem without renovating every single bus station? Is to basically evaluate the density within each station. So we evaluate the density that a bike can serve, which is 2 miles, a car can serve, which is 1 mile. And then within a quarter-mile walking distance, which is under 5 minutes. So within those density, if the density level gets high enough, gets beyond the pressure threshold, then that station turns into this intermodal station. And the beautiful thing about this intermodal station is that we're taking plants from the modular wetland plantation system. We're taking this plant and then we involve the community and have them take this little piece of wetland or take this little planter and plant it back to their community spaces, basically, the community scale transportation hub. Because this a small scale really needs maintained year round, and this larger hub allows plants to grow year round. So basically, involving community ecological restoration.
Yeah. Our main focus was to really propagate sustainable transportation culture while tackling more interconnected issues within Miami. That's the underlying campaign.
That's the underlying campaign.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Richard Clark. Sebra, you guys come. Sebra's been busy all day judging and listening to a number of these presentations.
Yep.
Will you give us sort of your reflections on what you saw today and what sort of things jumped out at you as innovative ideas?
Absolutely. Firstly, just to say that it's a huge pleasure to be here, and I just want to extend my thanks to all the organizing team, but also the students, and that's really important. The most important thing in all of this is the students and the hard work that they've put in on these projects. So I applaud everyone for the work that they've done, and I'm just really glad to see this as a continuing success and look forward to many more years. But in terms of what I've seen today, I personally reflect mostly on the communications design briefs. I think that brief hit something that's quite powerful. The brief itself was all about air pollution and how we should think of air as something that we all share, that my air is different from your air and what we all breathe. And I think the brief itself was really powerful and something that matters a lot to me, which is design's role in social and environmental change. So the projects that lots of the students who tackled that brief tackled it from lots of different angles, and that's part of the reason we like the RSA Student Design Awards, is that it's got people coming at a particular issue from all sides. But the fact that people were thinking about air in a very thoughtful way, the motivations around why somebody would do something to clean up the air in their particular environment, and the various ways that they might do that were things that spoke to me. I was also very impressed by the architecture projects, people thinking on a really big scale, and the industrial design projects as well. People were really getting at issues in design that designers don't normally have the opportunity to tackle, which is around behavioral economics and the motivations of why somebody would use a particular product or engage with a particular design. So those are things that really matter to me.
Will you talk to us a little bit about RSA's investment in sustainability and how you are supporting that in future design work?
Yeah, so the RSA as an organization is all about human capability and positive social, environmental, and economic progress. That's what we stand for as an organization. I particularly am interested in how the role of design and all of that. And so for us, it's not a nice to have. Sustainability and positive environmental change isn't something that we can have as an add-on anymore. It's something that has to be embedded in the way that we approach design. I think that's not just true of sustainability and environmental issues, that's true of a lot of things. It's true of understanding of the cost of things and having a business acumen that comes with being a designer. Many designers don't think of themselves that they need to have that, but actually the world of design is changing, and we need to start to change design education so people understand that they need to be thinking more broadly, and that becoming a designer is a set of skills that are transferable to lots of industries. So I think that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you for participating today and just making this an amazing event. Thank you for making it that.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye for now.
Okay, so this is Susan and Jianglu. Will you tell us where you are in school currently?
We're from press, and then we're in undergraduate fourth year.
Okay. Tell us about your design that you presented today, and what inspired you to create this design?
So this project is for the gondola station, which is a park. And we started from the Williams Park. Our location is in the Williams Park, and then we were trying to
connect all the transportation into one vertical and horizontal building. And then for that, we realized that our neighborhood is like food deserts and like a markets, exercise area, and the green area. So we put all those ideas into our building to create it. And we use our research on archipelago city that is basic of the project, and islands in the city, which is the park, and city again in the park. So like a channel that has the small size of the big walls. So cities are embedded in the park, and within the park there's another city again. Then it's going down and down.
In your process, what was the most difficult part of creating these, maybe the prototypes or creating the full presentation?
I think the hardest part is to manipulate this Vonoroi machine because it was kind of hard to manipulate it. So that was one of the hardest parts. And figure out, and then we have to create a city in the building, and then that was, we didn't have that much program, but it has to be in a city. So that was one of the hardest parts to figure out as a programmer.
Are your prototypes 3D printed or are they handmade?
They're all 3D printed. Yeah, they're all 3D printed because those are all curvature, so we can't really make it with the hands. We use the two different types of the 3D prints, which is the powder and the filaments.
This is the powder.
This is the filaments.
Filaments. Okay.
And this is the powder.
How long did it take to print them? Each.
This, like the last one took a day because it's a powder, and the rest of it is pretty much, the smaller one is take only that one took 4 or 5 hours because we can't speed up that much, so it's a long time to do that.
Yeah. What do you hope, what are your visions for your future after school as designers? What do you want to do? What are your dreams?
I don't know. Am I ready in architecture field? Maybe we'll have to create country. At least we want to enjoy our architecture right now, and then think about that later. Because we're maybe in this year, maybe in the next year, we might gonna think about it. But for now, we just want to concentrate on our own design and then work on it.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That'd be great. This is one of the air quality ones, right?
Yes, the brief one's the air and ACIU.
Will you tell us a little bit about your perspective on that?
Yeah, so I wanted to do, as I was doing research, I found that a lot of the information about air quality is many times hard to understand for an audience that only has a basic scientific background. So I was trying to find a way to make these very numerical language into a more visual language that is more intuitive and less intimidating for an audience like myself with only basic scientific background. So I first created a book, and the book shows the changes in air quality that a country has experienced from 2000 to 2012. And it does so using a color gradient scale where the light blue means less contaminants, and as it gradually turns into red tones, that means that there's higher levels of that intent. So this created a visual language that I translated into an app because I thought an app would be would allow me to have a larger quantity of information. So there would be more countries, and there could also be more different pollutants other than the book, which only had one pollutant. So the app actually contains information for 5 different criteria pollutants, and the user can navigate the whole map and see where that country is for that air pollutant that they selected. And they can also see a country profile that shows different years, and it shows the trends of improvement or deterioration in air quality that a country has experienced. But the ultimate goal of the app is to allow a person that is located in a place where information isn't available for their air quality in that place to post something on social media and get them to, with enough reach, hopefully get local authorities and create a public demand for monitoring of air quality in places where this isn't the case yet, because it's really important in order to establish policies to improve air quality, to know what the actual air quality is, and to be able to track progress. So that's the ultimate purpose and what I envision this app allowing to do, and to have an impact in the monitoring and air quality, and as a result, the improvement of air quality.
When you did your research, did you find any examples of other apps that were similar to it? Were there other developments happening in this area?
I looked into other apps. There's an app that shows real-time air quality for different cities in China, but that was like the most similar thing I could researching that I found. I wanted an app that would allow for a global comparison across different countries in an easy way, and so this information is like scattered all over the internet, so I like sort of bring it all together in one big database to allow for a more effective comparison, and to allow to see the change each country has made, to see if countries have improved or their air quality has deteriorated. And I also noticed a trend that a lot of developing countries, their air quality has actually deteriorated, and as opposed to developing nations where their air quality is improving. So that was an interesting
Thank you. What do you feel is sort of the long-term feasibility of a project like this? Is it a matter of just having technical and coding skills to create the app, or do you need larger partnerships and collaborations with all this data?
Right now, it'd be yes, just the backend development coding part of the app, and then the first like phase would involve compiling a lot of information for past years, say like 10 years previous until the present, and then it would be updated on a yearly basis. So it's like updating it wouldn't require that much. It's just gathering the information for the current year. But initially, the coding phase would be the next in feasibility terms.
Thank you. That's great. Where are you in school? And tell us your name.
My name is Mariana Herrera, and I go to school at Champlain College in Burlington, Vermont.
What year are you?
I'm a senior. I'm graduating in May.
Yeah. What will you do?
For the summer, I'm thinking I'll be in Burlington, working and interning, and then I'm looking to move somewhere bigger. So I'm still in the process of.
What do you feel has been the sort of the best takeaway for you personally from this experience at the RSA Design Challenge?
Yes, it has really allowed me to think beyond a project that is beyond just one deliverable. Like I started with a book, but it also changed into there's the infographic and planning and to so really pushing doing like a bigger scope of a project than like more of like a campaign sort of project, and then just allowing me to present it in front of like such a talented jury. It's really it's a big learning experience. Sort of pitching an idea, so presentation skills definitely. Yeah, and it's been great seeing others submissions as well.
Well, you did a beautiful job for us. Thank you so much. Thank you for this.
Yeah.
textile and fabric presenters. Will you introduce yourself? Tell us where you are in school.
Hi, I'm in third year in California in California College of the Arts. My name is Jean Reed, and this is my farm. So the main idea is how to reduce landfill and transfer into new garments. They can be sold. T-shirts, and I created a template with laser cutting machine, and then made the t-shirts and then knit it up. Made this prototype, as you can see over there. So the 40% of the abandoned t-shirts can be resold in stores, and for example, Goodwill. I know, right? But 60% goes to the aftermarket. So it can be reserved by the African people, that's something challenging, but instead it can be for the landfills eventually.
Can you tell us a little bit about what design brief you were responding to with your design?
So, that was finding the gap. So, finding the gap between sustainable content and real garments that can be modified. The main focus was making something that was really sustainable. It's a sustainable message. So, I think I succeeded pretty much.
Great, thank you. Good idea. Finally, like it's a big part of starting to actually happen. I guess so yes.
It's been a fabulous day. We've had over 26 finalists come together to pitch their ideas to a team of almost 20 judges that are leading designers, architects, and thought leaders in the field of creativity and innovation. It's so inspiring, and I know that you've been around and seen almost all the different stands and all of their prototypes, and just fit, they'll be presenting the awards for what's been fantastic as a part of this activity is to see all the energy around connecting to the needs from saving the planet to creating resources of energy to fashion design or to architecture where we're looking at water, rainwater, and how that's working and repurposing water in the environment. So it's been exciting to see the students be inspired by each other's work, even the judges themselves in the midst of the judging, which spontaneously get excited about these designs and start offering ideas back to the students about what they can do differently or how they can add to the design. And then we've even had some of the children here from Boston Park, the youth initiative that we have going on through Intimidate, and they have been enamored with the designs that are here, speaking to the designers, learning about the importance of people and about sketchbooks and all the things that you do to collect designs and all that. So, big tribute tonight to all designers across the United States who employ design thinking for social good. Big tribute to the RSA in terms of their sponsorship of the Student Design Awards globally and here in the United States. And an extraordinary thank you to the Savannah College of Art and Design for their technology.
We're back with Santiago, whose presentation is here. Santiago, would you share with us a little bit of your inspiration for your design and then your process?
Of course. Well, my design started by looking at learning disabilities, how kids had some issues sometimes fitting into adapting into new experiences or like learning new skills. And then we came up with something with like art therapy where people can just be themselves and create expressively free. So we came up with a big brush as a family where you can actually play with paint and use different techniques to create different designs. So what I was explaining is that you can actually exchange for quests, you can actually exchange the roles and like get different textures and different techniques, and then you can actually roll it and create a new path every time you go. As well as Dynamo, it's more about like changing the stamps, and you could even create your own designs for you to be able to leave your stamp around and just like go around leaving your mark. And then Synergy, it's more about like it comes with three different colors, and then you can just go around and create different designs and creative techniques to play with it. So basically, they are there for inspiring kids to just get their creativity out and be themselves and express themselves freely.
What material did you use for these prototypes?
For the prototypes, this is resin. It was 3D printed, and then we just sanded and put some paint and acrylic on top of it. But for the actual models, it would be polyethylene for the material because it's non-toxic for the kids.
Thank you so much. This is Nicholas, and he has a beautiful new design called Prism. Will you talk to us about your design?
Yes, definitely. So Prism is a tilt-on nightlight. Essentially how it works is whenever you tilt, the light comes on. And I really tried to solve the issue of being in bed and you need to get a glass of water, so you get up and you try to turn on your lamp, and it's on your nightstand, but you're kind of hitting things around because it's dark. And that little turn switch on your lamp is so difficult to turn on. And you can turn it on and this bright light hits you. So I really tried to solve that issue of, how can I create a better nightlight and a better nighttime experience. Right. So I did a lot of research. I did some foam models. You can probably see in my portfolio. So I tried all kinds of different foam models. I did a lot of sketching, and then I came to the prototype. I did a prototype of it, and then what you see here today is the final thing.
How did you create this final prototype?
So the final prototype is 3D printed. So I wanted to get it as close to manufacturing standards as I could. The actual manufacturing model would be injection molded PETG, and the ends would be wood, and I would want to use a sustainable wood, hopefully some offcuts from local manufacturers. So the wood is just milled and snaps onto the ends.
Where are you currently in school?
I am a senior at the Savannah College of Art and Design. I'm graduating in about a month.
Thank you. In fact, Savannah College Arts and Design is the sponsor for this Ustream tonight, so thank you. Thank you. This is Sarah, and this is her design, and this is part of your research.
My research, it's my senior thesis project. I'm a student at Parsons. I'm an artist at Genspace Community Bio Lab. I grow material to understand the body's interaction with material and use it to create kind of a new way we could interact with material that's more sustainable. So my project is a book, which basically is a lifestyle, which uses material and objects to talk about a different relationship with our things. So it's a performative piece. I am in the photos because I'm doing kind of experimental interactions with the body, and I felt like I needed to do that to understand how it might apply to someone else.
What was your inspiration for this?
Well, I've been working at Genspace for a while, the biology lab, and it started, I think, as a dancer because before Parsons, I was interested in my interaction with space, and then I found science, and kind of that was also the same thing to me. So I guess it began a while ago.
Amazing. And some of the materials you're considering, will you explain to us the samples you have here?
So these are mycelium. It's the vegetative system of fungi. Basically, it's a mesh material that grows into organic substrate like wood and binds it together. These are some of the samples of that grown in different materials. And then over here are some pieces of cellulose, basically. It's kind of like kombucha tea. it grows on the surface of a vat of fermenting liquid, and then you can dry it, and it's like a leather.
Do you feel this is a feasible design in the next few years, or are you thinking, what sort of is your vision and projection for something like this?
My idea is to have a publication or a type of interactive website which communicates ideas that provoke people to think about the way that they interact with material and the way that they use objects to create a more sustainable relationship between us and the things all around us. So it's more of a book or website that would propose ideas to get people to be critical than an actual object or garment.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's fascinating. Right, over here, we have two lovely ladies. Would you tell us your display as well as what you covered in your presentation today?
So, well, we took a collaborative course together at the University of Cincinnati, and it was mostly based on trend research, macro trend research of worldwide events. And through all that trend research, we found that going off-grid by choice or going off-grid by force was a common trend for now and looking into the future. So we did all this trend research based on textile innovations for the next 10 years that are currently
Being researched.
Yeah, being researched and developed. And we came up with, we asked the question, how can we help people in the time of natural disasters and terrorist attacks who are being forced off grid?
We created a lifestyle brand called Beyond Base, and it is a core clothing line to help protect and sustain life during natural disaster or terrorist attacks.
So some of the textile innovations that we researched and that we feel are really attainable to develop even further in the next 10 years are things like wearable technology in terms of LED lighting and clothing powered by your body's own kinetic energy.
Textiles to protect against radiation, textiles that are water repellent to keep you warm,
Textiles that can test water contamination, as well as heart rate monitors, so you can tell what your heart rate is in time of distress. Also 4D printing, which is the next type of 3D printing. 4D printing is the type of printer that changes the genetic code. And so after a garment would be printed, it can change based on your environment.
So we would hope that all of these innovations and technologies can come together in one core product to help no matter what the type of disaster it would be.
Because these already exist, we feel that it's definitely feasible and definitely attainable in the next 10 years, by the year 2025.
Ladies, thank you so much. Beautiful design. Yeah, beautiful. All right, let's go a little bit. Would you like to speak to us a little bit? This is Hazel. Hazel, will you tell us where you attend school currently and a little bit about your design?
Yeah, I'm Hazel Swanson. I'm currently a junior at California College of the Arts. My project is called Connect the Dots. It's about using this eyelet fabric or even something lighter like this to make a customizable design that anyone can really change their design, change their garments, and make it really good.
What was your inspiration behind this design?
I really wanted to make something where people could make their own stories and make their own art through a garment, but not something as complicated to where you have to design the whole thing yourself or draw the whole thing yourself. It was inspired by constellations and connect the dots puzzles and how you could see different people see different things in them. For example, the Scorpio constellation is seen as a scorpion by us, but like an ostrich by people in Australia. So it's very
Amazing. May we look at your sketchbook?
Go ahead.
One of the things as part of youth initiative and teaching kids about creative process, we've shared with them the idea of using and recording and archiving their work in a sketchbook. How long have you had this sketchbook?
This one was just this semester since September, yes.
It's amazing.
And we work in different sketchbooks for different projects or different classes, just to keep different ideas together.
Yeah.
But it is a good way to explore ideas outside of your head because it's really easy to have an idea. It's always good to get it out on paper and the imagery and have it all so you can always look and expand on your idea and see where it's come from.
Did you use a sketchbook like this before you were in school for design, or did you have any exposure to that?
To be honest, not too much before design school and art school. Even in art school, I didn't, but I quickly learned that it does really learn, see where your idea is going, see where it's come from. You can always revisit old ideas, and it really helps a lot.
Thank you, Hazel. It's a beautiful sketchbook, and your idea is really creative and whimsical. So we love it. Thank you so much. Come on. Will you introduce yourself? Tell us what school you're from, and then a little bit about your presentation today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Zachary, and I'm a fashion design major at the University of Cincinnati in the DAP program.
I'm Patricia. I'm also in the DAP program at the University of Cincinnati, but I am a graphic design major.
So we took the collaborative studio with the other group over there at the university, and this was our project. So it's called I'm Paired, and the whole idea behind it is a wearable, like a wearable textile undergarment collection based on a mental, like from a mental illness standpoint. So all of the medication and everything that you need will be loaded into the garments and into the undergarment collection, basically making it so that your life can be more organic and you don't have to worry about taking pills and keeping on a regimen and things like that. We also designed like a campaign around it, destigmatizing mental illness and all that goes along with that as well. So yeah, so basically it's a undergarment collection with capabilities of allowing you to just wear the garment organically, and throughout the day it will dispense the medication that is needed.
So is it so intravenously given, or is it more you carry the pills with you?
So it utilizes iLearn technology, so it's transferred transdermally. So the medication is loaded into these blue areas right here, and then it just time releases throughout the day. And it also is capable of sensing when someone is like feeling anxious, or like it's, you know, when you start to sweat a lot when you're anxious. So these are targeted towards the most absorbent parts of the body. So yeah,
rapid release.
Yes, exactly. And USign, which is a health organization, found that we were able to load more than one medication into the garment at a time without irritating the skin. So that's pretty cool as well. So if you're on different medications, yeah, you can wear just one garment and it will release all the medication.
And so the whole idea behind it is it's a one-stop shop where you go and get your undergarments, but you also go to a store that sells I'm Paired, and then go right to the pharmacy at a supermarket or something like that. So, yeah.
What do you think is the feasibility in terms of like the FDA and those sort of hurdles? I don't know if that's too far down the line.
It's basically just like a drug. It's a pharmaceutical. So it would need beta testings, it would need clinical trials, it would need all of that kind of stuff. So definitely 10 to 15 years out. But the technology and the capability is there, which is a cool thing we thought to take advantage of. No, it's just like a pharmaceutical. It would be bought out by a pharmaceutical company and dispersed just like a drug.
Yes, that's, so what was your inspiration? How did you start thinking about?
So yeah, our initial trends research like way before that had to do with human rights and just
we started off talking about like basic human rights and inherent human rights, like what you like, just like what everyone deserves basically. And then we kind of went down a wormhole, and then we got into disability human rights, and then we started looking at the visibility of disabilities, and mental illness is one of the only illnesses that you can't really you don't know that a person is living with mental illness unless you talk to them or unless they tell you. So it's not a physical attribute. And this also is a campaign towards the change in the awareness of mental illness and how
and the stigma that
surrounds it, because 1 in 4 Americans suffer from mental illness, so that's 100% of people know someone.
Thank you. That is really fascinating. Really fascinating. Well done. Thank you. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't know if we can just show a little bit some of the textile and fabric designs that we've had today. This is also a modular clothing where you would get the clothes in a kit and put it together in a design of your own making. So the fabric and the basic structure would be in place, but then you as an individual would create something of your own. And again, the use of the sketchbook, a lot of these students come with these beautiful working sketchbooks that have their inspiration and their research as well as sampling of their work. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself, your name and the school you attend, and then a little bit about your design and the inspiration for your design?
Yeah, I'm Dawson Sargent. I'm from Champlain College, and my design is working on building towards a world community. I use the imagery of Pangea, the supercontinent that existed before the plates shifted, to represent a time before we thought that separating lands into separate areas with borders also separated issues. So I made an app design to strive towards working together as all one world community to make a difference, and people can discuss together and create solutions and work towards them as a world community. And then they take a pledge that they will work together as a world community and share their ideas with one another. And that was the gist of it. Is there anything else?
Can you tell us a little bit, as you were doing this process, did you run into roadblocks or issues that you just felt were frustrating, and how did you overcome those?
I guess the only roadblock I had was finding direction. I did a lot of research, and then I used word mapping to figure it out, and from word mapping is where I got the idea of the word community, and that helped me figure out where I wanted to go, and then I pursued several directions before moving on to my final.
And how did you test each direction to know if it was feasible or?
Well, these are not fully developed. They're just, I brought them each to a point where I knew if that was reaching the full idea of my concept, and then went forward with the one that I liked best.
So as a designer, what do you wish to sort of leave in the world? Or what sort of mark do you want to leave?
Well, I think designers have all the tools that are necessary to create something for the general public that helps them to make the change. Like, we can create and design this apps and stuff, and that helps the general public move on, and we have the tools to make that happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are here now with Caitlin. Caitlin, will you share with us what you presented today?
Sure. I'm Caitlin Merrow from Champlain College in Burlington, Vermont, and I entered the Design Communications degree, which is called The Air in Me is the Air in You. And my project was basically an app that allows users to submit a photo within a long template, and everyone submits from all over the world to start a global conversation about how the air pollution is affecting them and how different environments can affect air quality and health. And it's basically to get the global community talking about the issue of air pollution and start making changes to fix it and try to renew air quality in certain locations that have really bad air quality.
And what was your inspiration for this?
Honestly, it just started when I read the design brief. I thought of something illustration or image based, and I was really inspired by the idea of showing what could be contributing to what's inside everyone's lungs. And it started with the series of posters that I did, where I took different objects that were known to either cause harm to air quality or cause like a renewing of air quality, and I took those and put them inside lungs to show how they were affecting it. And using like color, I was able to convey which things were bad for the air quality and which things were good. And that's really where I got my inspiration from. And I decided that I think I should try to create a way for the public to become more involved in showing that. So that's where I came up with the app, is from the posters I segued into making something that was more user-friendly and called the public to do something about it.
So Caitlin, after having done the presentation today in front of the judges, in a much broader picture, what do you wish you had known before you came to today's presentation?
I kind of wish I had dived into more researched kind of apps more and what goes into making apps, because through the interview process I came up with a lot of more ideas that could contribute to the success of an app like this, and the judges were able to contribute a lot of ideas that I didn't really originally think of. And I think going back, if I just did some more research on how certain apps work and like what goes into making an app, I think it could have even strengthened it more.
Thank you. That's great feedback. Thank you so much.
Originally stems from the East River Skyway proposal, which is a company for basically air gondola transit. They proposed a series of sites around New York City, including Dumbo, Williamsburg, Brooklyn Navy Yards, Red Hook, etc., for new places to put an air gondola system. This could begin to connect different neighborhoods, cultural centers in Brooklyn, as well as in Manhattan, in order to perform kind of this next level of connectivity. So other than that, there were two structural ideas that are taken kind of not necessarily from directly from architecture. Fryotter, however, was kind of an architect who did win the Pulitzer Prize, recently passed away. He developed this structural model where you have a series of wool strands on water. Because of the water surface tension, we begin to bundle and form optimized paths, structural paths. The other structural reference is from biology, and this kind of goes back to my studies pre-college. I was really interested in molecular biology, doing cancer research, and I wanted to bring back in this idea of biology and how that can be optimized and proceduralized in an architecture. So this is based on stigmergy. It's a kind of a slime mold, which is a multicellular organism that looks at where the most food is. So it's another way of drawing the most optimized path. So these two are both structural as well as kind of ornamental ideas that kind of led me to the historical precedent of Gothic architecture. Now that, in terms of its cultural context, has to do with its immediate.
I guess. Go for it.
My name is Nathan.
I'm Beijing.
So this essentially we're trying to add variant into a gondola city. So we're just trying to tie culture to infrastructure.
Through a new type of transportation, which is a gondola station that connects Brooklyn and Manhattan and Queens, through reprogramming a aquarium into it to create this kind of surreal and cultural experience within the station.
So we looked at quite a few sort of formal typologies, and from there realized that this really wanted to be a portal that connected Lower Manhattan to Brooklyn. So what happens is actually the gondola would come in through here, and then pass down in through the building, and then sort of out the other side. So this is kind of like this pivot point
where the gondola can move through.
Yeah, and also if you look through the set of model we developed, our studio really stresses on how 3D printing can be a tool of enhancing our design. So we really walk through different phases of developing forms through this new technology of 3D printing and kind of help us understand the space and the formal tectonic of architecture.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Anything else we need to add?
Take a moment to thank our sponsor. Savannah College of Arts and Design has sponsored this Ustream and the technology that we've been able to use to support this design competition. So we really appreciate it, and we can see the beautiful work and product that's been able to be seen by so many today.